Hello everyone, Coach Job here from CrossFit Ethos, bringing you guys the third and final week of the Open 24.3, your tips and strategies. Now, starting off with our warm-up, we're thinking about the two movements here. Think about dynamic stretches that will help prepare almost every single joint and muscle involved, but primarily focusing on hips, hamstrings, quads, and of course, shoulders. On the thrusters, especially for those who are going to be doing this RX'd, or even for those who are going to be doing this scaled, if the weight is kind of spooking you out a little bit, we want to recommend that you try to go overloading on it. So if the second weight is 135/95, maybe you can go 145/150 and 100/105, just so that if you were to revisit the weight, you're not as spooked about it anymore. Just a recommendation. On the pull-ups, expose yourself in the different ways to hang, especially for our scaled athletes or those who are just going to be working on their chest to bars and trying to unlock them or getting them one rep at a time. Play around with the different grips. You've got your pronated, your supine, and your mixed grips as well. Expose yourself in dead hangs on that one and pulling motions, and make sure that your ranges of motions are explored. When you guys are doing your beat swings for warm-up, try not to make them small, make them big, especially for those doing bar muscle-ups. Last but not the least on the warm-up is, I know some people tend to play around with, oh, I'm going to reserve a lot in the tank for the actual workout. It's not really how it works. So expose yourself to the way you're going to break your movements. That's for both the thrusters and the pull-ups. If you're set on doing 6-4 or 5-5 on the thrusters, and then 4-3 towards the end, or 3-2-2, do it right from the warm-up. Play around with how you're going to step back, how you're going to rest, what is your break time between each rep, so on and so forth. Same thing on the pull-ups. If you're going to do 5-5, 6-4 on the chest to bars, if you're going to do 4-3, 3-2-2 on the bar muscle-ups, do at least one set. Practice and rehearse how you would do each set, whether you are fresh or under fatigue. Couple of strategies here. This is a skill and weight gate workout. What that basically means is if you don't have your chest to bars or you're just doing them one rep at a time, this is going to be the thing that tests you, right? For those who have their bar muscle-ups, but it's one rep at a time, same thing. It's going to test that. On the absolute strength side of it, on the thrusters, it's whether you can move a heavy weight or not. Acknowledging that, we have to see what our limitations are. When we are able to identify what we may need to work on more, we want to come into that piece a little bit more fresh. For example, if you know that the chest to bar pull-ups are the things that's going to hold you back, you don't want to do your thrusters unbroken. Break them up so that you have more energy to execute the movement that you are weaker at. Same thing if you feel like the thruster weight is something that scares you or that's going to be your limiter. Break your chest to bar or your pull-ups up so that you can perform better there and you are more fresh. Next on the strategy, we want to create 3 plans that you may have. Plan number A is doing your breaks with an increasing rest period. So let's say on the heavy thrusters or your bar muscle-ups, you're going to do 3, 2, and 2. After the 3 reps, maybe rest for 5 counts. After the next 2 reps, maybe rest for 7 counts. Are you the type that's going to do all reps broken up equally? 5-5, 4-3 across, that's plan B. Or are you the type that's going to be descending in terms of the reps, right? So that's usually the most used strategy, where we have a bigger set as our first set and a smaller set for the second set. Have these 3 plans in your head and know and when to adapt while you're doing the workout. Last but not the least on the strategy here is you want to make sure that you are focusing on what you can control. And in the middle of the workout, there are 2 main things that we can. Number 1 is how you rest and how long you rest. In between the reps and the movements, are you on your knees? Are you standing up? Are you chalking your hands? Make sure that you're also rehearsing what you're doing and having a count in your head. Personally, I like counting 7 counts downwards. It's a good indicator for me when to go for the next set. I get to be rested enough for that. The other thing is the movement changes. So you're doing your chest to bars, you got no rep because your chest wasn't able to touch. What can you control? Change the grip, play around with it. Bar muscle ups, you had a difficult time with a narrow grip, try a wider grip, and the other way around. Thrusters, you felt like you were on your toes, felt like you were narrow. On your next set, go wider feet. Focus on what you can control rather than just going through the motions and coursing through the workout just kind of mindlessly, waiting for a rep or a no rep. Let's be intentional when we do our workouts, basically. Last but not the least for you guys is our just the tips. Just the tips. Number 1, this is a long workout. It's 10 rounds. Break early and often. Unless you're a games athlete or you're trying to make it to the semifinals and quarterfinals where you have the capacity to go unbroken on either of the movements, break early and often, which is very correlated to our second tip, pride is the devil. Swallow that. I know it might feel really fresh in round number 1, but don't listen into that voice inside your head that's saying, go unbroken, go unbroken. Do not. The benefits here pay tenfold towards the end of the workout when you start investing in that energy management at the start. Last thing, visualize your workout. We're not really big on the redos, especially if you're not trying to make it to semis and quarterfinals. So before you even do the workout, try to envision how you would be doing the first 5 rounds and the next 5 rounds. How would you be breaking for the first, second, third, fourth, fifth round of the first set and the other 5 sets there. And that's about it from us. We wish you all the best of luck for your final workout. We're very happy that the Open is almost finished as well. It's a big change from how it used to be with the 5 and 6 weeks. Hopefully everybody's still remembering to have fun and enjoying it with your community. Don't forget to fist bump the people that you're working out with. And don't forget to thank your coaches, your judges, and the people running the box. We'll see you guys next year in 25.1.